the live with your host, Dr. Cheapest Sunflower. Come in the building. I'm sorry I had some technical difficulties this morning, but we are live and ready to rock out. Come in the chat. Let me know how you feeling. As you can see from the topic, exclamation topic, we talking about optimizing our sacredness. Optimizing our sacredness. So come in the room, tap those hearts, let me know that you're ready to start. Come in the room, tap those hearts, let me know you're ready to start. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. We're talking about optimizing sacredness, mind, ancestry, truth, and the alchemy of becoming. Now let me ask you something. Let me ask you something real quick before we go any further. When was the last time you honored your ancestors on purpose? Not like a post, not reposted like a quote. I mean, truly honor them with your thinking, your discipline, your curiosity, your growth. And the second question is, do you actually know what makes you tick? Or are you running on a program someone else hands you? I call that default method. So this morning we're talking about optimizing sacredness. Because being Niji, a Mary Indian, is not just about the aesthetics. You know what I'm saying? It's not all about that. It's not about trendy. It's not a costume. It's sacred. And sacred things deserve protection, understanding, and discipline. Okay? So come in the room, tap those hearts, and we're going to get ready to start. Let me know how you're feeling.
History talking, wisdom revived. This ain't just a lie, this is life. Yes, Lord, I feel it. Talk to him. All the way live. All the way live. Hang with the tribe. Hang with the tribe. Hood to hood. Hood to hood. We survive. We survive. Yeah, yeah.
So that's what we're talking about today. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Cheapest Sunflower, and I'm tardy today because duty calls, dentistry is always calling, and the phone has been hot. And I cannot complain about that. Let's test this out here. Did it work? I don't know if it really worked, but so yeah, we finna dive in today, guys. I am streaming on multiple platforms, so just let me know in the comments where are you finding us from. And before we dive in, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and tap those hearts, especially on TikTok. Tap those hearts, guys. Let's see. Tap those hearts. Tap those hearts. Okay, so Sacredness, optimizing your sacredness. I know that sounds kind of like, what the hell are you talking about, Dr. Sean? But, you know, I think that's something that we have to really focus on in the new year. All right, we have to really focus on that in the new year. And also, as far as my time, I think turn on the notifications because dentistry and being on call is always going to triumph hitting the live, and I am on call sometimes, so make sure y'all turn your notifications on. I'm going to change my time to 8-ish because I don't know, sometimes it's just a little rough to get on here. But what does optimizing your sacredness mean? Do we have any takers? Does anybody know what optimizing your sacredness means? Anybody know? Any takers? Let me know if you can hear me. Optimizing your sacredness. I feel like I don't know. Optimizing your sacredness. So sacredness isn't passive. It seems like it's such a passive word, especially coming from, you know, all of the things we're learning about history and the erasure. You know, sacredness was a big part of who our ancestors were, and that's one thing they want us to like not recognize, but we recognize it. Okay, we recognize the sacredness of our DNA. So optimizing your sacredness means you inherit it. You actually know that you're sacred. You accept that you're sacred, and you don't just let that just dwindle away. Optimizing your sacredness means sharpening your mind. Ding dong, yeah, sharpening your mind. Yep, sharpening your mind. So that's something that you always want to do, and have a sharp mind. And let's see, have a sharp mind and know where to invest your energy. It's been so tough getting this stream going today. Oh, I think it's back working. There we go. Let's see if it's working. Woohoo! Yay! So, I'm streaming a little bit different on TikTok today. I don't know if it's going to really reach my core audience with me doing it from a streaming app, but hopefully it doesn't impact who I can reach on here. So, we're going to see it. I'm also on Instagram for the first time. It's crazy how I am like leveling up with this streaming stuff. It has been a journey. It's really been a journey, but this year we leveling up. I'm not making no excuses. We're gonna be excuse free every day. I'm trying to be excuse free, cause why not? We gotta be excuse free. Okay, I think TikTok still. I see. Okay, it's tapping the hearts. I don't know who tapping the hearts. I can't really see my comments though. Oh, it's no comments yet. Okay, good. So someone is tapping the hearts. So thank you for tapping the hearts and coming in the room. Like I said, this is my first time multi-streaming to TikTok and not being on TikTok and using the streaming platform. So it's a little bit different. I'm used to seeing my TikTok tribe, you know, separate. But we're doing it different today. So hopefully everybody woke up and brushed and flossed their teeth on this lovely, lovely Saturday. I'm just checking out my little tools as y'all come into the room. Okay, we get it. We get it. We get it. We get it. It's still going. Okay, so I'm sorry, guys. I'm taking a long time to freaking get started on my topic, but oh, I see a user on TikTok. It's taking me a minute to get used to this. Welcome to the podcast. Hey, we trying to level up. I'm trying to take it so much serious this year. Like, have fun, but kind of serious, and just get better with each stream. You know. So what's going on, y'all? Somebody said WTF. What? Why you put that? Anywho, what's going on, y'all? Yeah, it feels kind of strange. Let me see how I can see these comments on TikTok. That's what I'm really trying to find, is how can I moderate this. But yeah. Come on. It's not working. That's not working. So I can't really moderate right now, so that's gonna really, oh, maybe I can moderate on my phone. Cause I gotta be able to block trolls. That's a must. Let me see if I can do it from my phone. If I can block trolls. Yeah, y'all come on in and let me know how you feeling. Oh man. I guess I can't block trolls on here. Oh, that may be a problem, but we're gonna figure it out. I'm still stay live this way because I gotta learn it. It's a new way to go live. And I gotta figure out how I can find y'all comments on TikTok. That's what I'm trying to do now. I thought it would just pop up, but it's not popping up. I gotta be able to find the comments. And normally I don't take this long getting started, but hey, this is what it's all about. Like I said, it's a new season, and we can't make no excuses. So with my streaming, I have to level up. So I'm using a completely new setup today, and it's not really going how I wanted it to go, but whatever. Y'all can still come in the room and chit chat until I get started. I just want to be able to moderate my TikTok comments, and I can't figure out where I can find y'all at. Let's see. Where is it? Okay, well, I have to just figure this out later. But part of going live is learning while you're live. And that's why most people won't do it, because sometimes you have issues with the software while you're actually live. Like me right now. Come on. Live access. Okay, well, that's not working, TikTok, so I'm just gonna have to allow the trolls to come in and ignore them while we talk. I guess that's what I'll do. Anywho, what does optimizing your sacredness mean? So sacredness, like I said, it's not passive. It's not something that you just dwindle away, especially when it comes to the ancestors. And the way society is today wants you to accept that your ancestors were not sacred. They were some weak people who couldn't fight and who just got overtaken. I'm talking about colonization here. So when you optimize your sacredness, this means that you are honoring your ancestors, not allowing them to be erased by a colonizer story. Because that's what erasing history and paper genocide does. It prevents you from optimizing who you truly are. It prevents you from really awakening your spirit and not being so tapped into the matrix, so that you can understand at a deeper level what's going on and how far you have to go and what path we should be on. So ever since I came into my newfound sacredness, I've just been learning at a rapid pace, understanding, comprehending at a deeper level who my tribe is, who I am, what success really looks like, connecting more to the sun, to nature, you know, just feeling so much empowerment just from knowing who I am. And I want that for most and all people who have been oppressed, to know who you are. You know, and that's the whole purpose of this podcast, is so we can just grow and be unafraid of the unknown and step into our sacredness. So optimizing your sacredness is sharpening your mind. That's just A1, day one. We got to sharpen our mind. Take notes. Always be on a level up journey, no matter what stage you at. Do y'all feel me or nah? You got to always be at a place where you're trying to level up. Always be ready to sharpen your mind. Oh my gosh, the trolls. Okay, sharpening your mind. And another thing is, when you optimize your sacredness, it's all about feeding your spirit. What's up, Cuzzy? Happy New Year. How you feeling? How you feeling? See, this is why I was pausing my live, because I gotta figure out how to stop the trolls, because they're gonna come in if I can't block them. So I'm gonna have to really ignore the trolls right now. You better be lucky, troll, that I can't get in here and block your ass. But I guarantee you I'm going to figure it out. But this year I said I'm not popping off on people, so I just have to ignore or block. You know. And that's just my own personal goal. I can't figure out how to do it. Big year coming up. I know. And I'm not ready. I'm not ready, but my body definitely feels like I'm headed towards that next phase. This week I learned that you could get a Charlie horse in your stomach. I thought that something major was going on. I thought I was gonna have to go to the ER. On January 1st, I called myself gonna start the year and work out. Right? I said I'm gonna start the year, work out. Why I did that? I did the workout. It was fine. I wasn't sore during the workout, but I said I'm determined every day to move, to read, to just really elevate this year. Tell me why that night I had this stabbing pain in my stomach, and I thought I was, having the something going on with my. I don't know what was going on. And baby, let me tell you, I got a Charlie horse. I didn't know it was a Charlie horse. The chief said, he was like, you might have a Charlie horse in your stomach, but I'm like, I might have to go to the ER, because it was like, it just, you know how a Charlie horse happened, but it was in my stomach, y'all. My abs was like, girl, you cannot be, thinking you just finna hop in working out. I don't know what I thought. Like, that's the ambition in me, but not realizing I'm headed towards another age. You can't just work out. Like, you can't just, I'm realizing I can't just go like I used to. Even though I want to, I have to do it more on a consistent basis. Yes, that check engine light came all the way on. The check engine light was like, girl, what is you doing? But I thought I was finna die. Boy, listen. Listen. What's up, Gracie? You gotta ease up and drink water. Listen, yes, I gotta go back and start with stretching first. Because let me tell y'all what I did. I actually have a degree in exercise science, but that's been a long time ago. I do teeth now, but let me tell y'all what I did on day one. I said, okay, I'm gonna start strong. I did 50 jumping jacks. I did 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, 50 squats, and what else? 50 toe raises, 5 minutes of yoga. I did a 6-minute little walk. I said, this is light. I thought that was light, boy. That night, it was like a stab. It was like, ugh. It's like, I don't know if my ab like just like, it just did something crazy. I did not know you could get a Charlie horse in your stomach. You can't go hard after not exercising for a while. Listen, the chief told me that. Did you stretch first? Listen, I'm guilty, and I know you're supposed to stretch 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after. Listen, I don't know what I was thinking. I had my day one. I'm like, this year, I'm going hard. I'm being disciplined. I said, I'm going to start light. I'm going to do 50 of each. And I was going to do 100. Listen, I was gonna do 100. Listen, never again. I'm gonna do a week of stretching or yoga or something, cause right now I can barely move. Like, listen, y'all, I can barely move my body. Like, listen, I went too hard. Yeah, let me just sit back down. Woo! Thank you, Lord, you didn't. Yes, I'm so happy I did not do the 100. I probably wouldn't even been able to. Listen, you would have been in the ER. Man, I would have been in the ER, y'all, because I'm like, I was just laying in the bed, and what happened is I tried to get out of the bed too fast, and that's when my abs said, ugh, because I was like getting out of the bed, and I got up, and that thing, I couldn't even get up. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go to the ER. It was a nightmare, so I'm never doing that again. The moral of the story is, don't work out and think you're finna go hard when you're getting older. You can't. When you're younger, I could do that. I could just not work out, go to the gym. Now, no. Lesson learned. Not doing that no more. Okay. Boy, that is too funny. Anywho, let's get back to the topic at hand. Y'all got me rolling right now. Listen, I'm optimistic, but sometimes your optimism sometimes you don't really think it clearly. Anywho, back to optimizing your sacredness. So this means sharpening your mind, feeding your spirit, honoring your ancestors through action, protecting your truth from dilution, and alchemizing pain into wisdom. Okay? And that's what it's all about. That's what it means to optimize your sacredness. Getting closer to the truth and not being afraid to tell it like it is, regardless of where people are in their journey. Girl, I remember when I caught myself doing elevated push-ups downward, and I found myself in it. No, not in the ER the next day. Crazy. ER the next day felt like elephant was on my chest. But did you have a Charlie horse in your abs, though? Girl. Sis, man, you went way too hard. And Gracie, I know you always going hard with the workout. You, Bridget, listen, I'm a, But listen, this is the year for health is wealth. Actually, the rest of our lives, anybody's life should be health is wealth. It don't have no age limit. If you're younger, appreciate your youth and make sure you stay healthy. If you're older, you still have to be more concerned about your health. Like me, I'm like, okay, this is the year where I need to buckle down on the health. I've been telling people, hey, buckle down on your oral hygiene, buckle down on your health. Get your checkups. Even if you don't have insurance, just do a little bit of something. Just go get some. You can pay cash. Think of it as an investment. I used to go hand with the workouts. Yeah, Gracie, you ain't gotta tell me. You had me as a teenager doing so many dance routines. I think I had a Charles horse in my intestines. Gracie, what the fuck? That is too funny. Not in your intestines. Listen, guys, I guess everywhere you have a muscle, you can get a Charlie horse. I mean, it makes total sense. And when I did the research after I got done, which I kind of already know because, like I said, exercise science is actually my major from Florida State University. Like, I actually studied exercising and how to make a routine. But I was a 20 in my 20s then, right? But then I'm realizing, like my cousin said, did you stretch? I'm like, no, I slipped. I hopped right in. Did not stretch. Before, I did stretch afterwards. And then I didn't stretch when I got sore. So that was also another issue. And another thing is you have to replenish your electrolytes. So I had to do that at the last minute because once you're sweating and working out and moving, you have to replenish your electrolytes, especially as you get older. Like, no joke, guys. As you get older, and people don't think about aging until they start aging, and then you're like, dang, I'm aging. I was just like, you know, I don't know, but we gonna roll with the punches because with aging comes wisdom. With aging comes so much more. Like, you have a lot more gratitude towards life. You got to warm up. Yeah, I know. You have to warm up for at least 5 minutes. Listen, I didn't warm up and I didn't stretch. And I don't think I was hydrated because my lips was dry as hell. You know, so, yeah. Yeah. We're going to move on. Okay, so our ancestors didn't just survive so we could stroll mindlessly. They survived so we could think freely, right? They went through so much back then so we could think freely, not just stroll and not sharpen our mind, feed our spirit, honor them, protect our truth. So I feel like in this day and age, especially this year for me, it's all about the brain food. People like to talk about the soul food, but can we talk about the brain food? Okay, the brain food. So, brain food, what the mind actually needs. We're going to actually get practical here. I'm going to go practical and talk about the brain food. FYI, my texts are delayed. How many seconds is it delayed? Because I'm multi-streaming, so wherever you watching from, guys, make sure you comment and send up those hearts, share it to your stories, because that's how we grow our tribe. That's how you support this free Hood to Hooded podcast. There is no paywall. There's no nothing. Just tap those hearts and engage. So yeah, my TikTok studio live is still not working. So I'm gonna have to just deal with the trolls, but it's okay. Brain food. So what our brain needs is nutrition, not just calories. What do I mean by nutrition? 1 to 2 minutes. Ooh, that's a long delay. Dang. My bad, dog. Dang, Gracie. So if you have a delay, don't worry. I will definitely read it. I will definitely read it and get to you. But parts of the brain we must feed. We're getting into a little neuroscience here. You know, we can't stay the same. Let's get into a little neuroscience and test your thinking this morning. Now, the prefrontal cortex. This is involved with decision making, discipline, and long-term vision. Your prefrontal cortex. What about your hippocampus? This is involved with memory, ancestry, story, continuity. It's cool. You'll get this text in 2 minutes. Grace. Grace. The text gonna be like this right here. I have arrived. All right. The text like I have arrived 2 minutes late. All right. What about your limbic system? This is tied to your emotions, how you regulate your emotions, rather, intuition, and belonging. So these are the parts of the brain that we must feed. I need speedy service. I know, right? Hopefully that will be fixed soon. I don't know how. That's some Facebook junk right there. It's because I'm not directly on Facebook, so it's going to have a little lag. It's kind of like you got to read my mind to say it fast enough, but... Alright, so parts of the brain we must feed is the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, and the limbic system. Now, all of these things that I just mentioned needs you to feed it. So your brain has areas, such as the prefrontal cortex, where it is involved with how you make decisions. It's in all of us. Your discipline and your long-term vision for your life. Some people don't have a long-term vision. Some people don't even have a short-term vision. Some people just go with the vision that is from a colonizer, or they go with the vision by default. They just go with the default vision. That's not a long-term vision. That's a default vision. Some people don't work on their memory or their ancestry. They're not doing genealogy. They're not caring about the story of their ancestors, their legacy, because they don't feed the part of the brain that deals with that. What about the limbic system? We talk a lot about emotional control, controlling your emotions, not being too out of balance. Even me, I said this year I'm not going to be so hot-headed. I'm going to be more like, I call it my soft chief era, we'll just say. Where I'm regulating my emotions, not allowing things to make me go so high or so low, just staying kind of balanced and at a peaceful, calm frame of mind. Last year I did good with handling depression and those things that come from childhood trauma, right? Okay, I need to get off the Facebook. What, Gracie? You finna go? I hope you have a good day. I don't know if that's what you meant, or if you're talking about brain food. I don't know. Let me know. So, the limbic system, emotional regulation, the part of you that deals with intuition. Okay, I need to get out. Hold on. That was 5 minutes. Dang. 5 minutes? That's a big delay. I think they may be still fixing the software, maybe. If you want faster responses, you might have to do what is it, Twitch? And I know that my TikTok is responding differently today because normally TikTok is my number one engaging audience. And it says 11 comments, but I can't see them really. I can't really see y'all comments on TikTok unless y'all really not saying nothing. Oh, I did see the comments on TikTok. I'm lying. I'm tripping. I'm streaming to too many places at this point. Bruh, you're on YouTube? Yes, right now I am live on too many damn places. We could just gonna put it like that. Wherever you at, I am. Cause bruh, I got too much going on. Bruh. YouTube. Yep, Dr. Sean on YouTube. Dr. Sean is on YouTube. But if you want to use all these emojis and the things you see popping up on the screen, that's only on Twitch. And if you are sending diamonds and gifts, let me see if I can see who's been sending stuff. I definitely appreciate y'all for tapping the hearts. Let me see. I can't really see. That's the only thing about multi-streaming. I can't really engage complete, but we're gonna keep it moving. Let's keep it moving with the topic. So, parts of the brain that we must feed. We just talked about all the things that your brain can do, and it does way more than that. That's just 3 areas of the brain. So what feeds these mental compasses in our body? What feeds the brain? Well, number 1, you see me, UFK Productions. Yes, I do, Gracie. I see you, boo. I see you. Hello, Dr. Sean. Is it faster now or is it still slow? Let me know. Is it still slow? So what feeds the brain? Number 1 is, y'all should already know, reading. Not just watching, but reading. To say, yay. Is it faster? Yeah, is it faster? I don't know. Let me know. Type something and let me see how fast I can say it. I'm saying it as soon as I see it. Slow? Aw, dang. I guess that's just a part of streaming. Maybe Twitch is the only one that's super fast. Let me see if I can type something on here and see how fast it'll be. Hold on. Let me go to my Twitch chat. I'm gonna say hi. Ooh, Twitch immediately. So if you really want to respond fast, guys, you got to be on Twitch. If you want to use all the emojis and you want fast response time, you got to go to Twitch. Because look, I'm gonna say Twitch is the fastest. I'm gonna put enter. I'm gonna hit send. Boom. That's how fast Twitch is. That just help us figure out some research because everywhere else is a little too slow. All right, so feeding the brain, reading, not just watching TV all day, but really sitting down and forcing yourself to read. I don't dogo Twitch. I don't know what dogo means. Yeah, download Twitch, Gracie. You into technology. You should be the first one on Twitch, especially with your gaming. I thought you was a gamer. Or what is it, Sim? Come on. We can be monetized on Twitch, man. This is the year of monetization, y'all. Right? So reading, not just watching. Truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Now, the thing about the Hood to Hood podcast is we talk about I don't do Twitch. Oh, you don't do Twitch. Oh. Yeah, Twitch is a bit of a learning curve. I haven't gained in a long time. Girl, listen, Twitch would be perfect for you. I know you don't do it, but I think it's more perfect for you than it is for me. I struggle growing on Twitch. It's kind of hard, but it's about chatting, but it's a lot of gaming. And I tried the gaming route, but I need to update my gaming equipment, obviously. Because I'm not really a gamer. Well, let me take that back. I like the old school games. Mario, Sonic, those old school games that they don't have anymore. So truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable, one thing about this podcast is we attack it. Some people may feel uncomfortable with the conversations we have about history, colonization, you know, the pilgrims, the papal bulls, the pope, all these different things. We uncover the truth. It gets uncomfortable, but guess what? This feeds your brain. It helps you make better decisions. It helps you with your long-term vision, your ancestry, your memory, regulating your emotions, your intuition, and your empowerment feelings. What about debate? This is something else that feeds your brain. Debate without ego. When you learn new information, it may cause you to debate like, excuse me, a healthy debate is saying, well, you believe this, I believe this, let's lay the facts on the table. I'm pretty savvy, but I don't have time due to my other gifts of creativity. I know. Listen, Gracie, we already know, multi-talented, booked, and busy. Booked and busy. My sis say she is booked and busy. Don't play with her. I be trying to find these little stickers. I'm going a little slow, but she say she booked and busy, and I feel it. That's how I'm trying to stay booked and busy. I don't have time to play. Not playing at all. Well, I can't find a good booked and busy. I guess this is what I'm looking for. Alright? Honest comprehension. Dialogue instead of performance. Silence. Did y'all know that silence feeds your brain? That's why meditation is so important. It gives your brain time to kind of process all of the stuff that you've been inputting all day. If you just go absorbing stuff all day, strolling all day, just doing too much all day, and your brain never have chance to just be in silence and think, then how could you elevate? How do you process all of this information? Or are you just... That's why people's attention span is so short, because they just doing stuff way too fast. They're not even taking time to be still and silent and just meditate. Even for 5 minutes. People won't even give themselves 5 minutes with their own brain. I'm not talking about absorbing what other people done created. You got all day to do that. They just stroll. We are in a society where we can't even sit still. Keep doing your thing, sis. I love you so much. Call me later so we may catch up. I love you too, Gracie. And I will definitely hit you up later. I gotta work a little bit after this, but I'll hit you up after I get off. Love you dearly. And you already know this. Alright. So nature and grounding. Most people don't know, if you go outside and you barefoot on the ground, this helps you absorb the energy, ground yourself, be in tune with nature. Community is super, super important. That's one reason why I love the Hood to Hooded podcast, because it's all about community. It's all about us growing together. Last year I started going live maybe it might have been May, April, and then I had a death in the family, and then I had to start over going live consistently, and then I had lost another close person, and then I had to start over again, and then work got busy, then I had to start over again. But during that process, it taught me so much about the live streaming process, because it's something that I want to do. It taught me so much about building a community and really living in your purpose. When you live in your purpose, you do things that will help and motivate other people. You do things that you feel like can feed the soul, the spirit, the mind. And I like to try to think outside of the box. That's how you go from hood to hood. You take what you have, that hood shit, that gutter mentality, that hustle and flow type of vibe, and you alchemize it into something that is so much bigger than what you started with. And you can only do that when you feed the parts of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, the limbic system. All of these different systems that are involved with how you think. And once you control how you think, once you control your decision making, you don't just take the information that you got from high school history. When we know that these invaders only came to seize land, to colonize, to assimilate, to erase, to missionize the American Indian, the copper tone, melanated, Niji, to erase our ancestries to the point where we don't even feel like we sacred no more. They only want to give us a title that was created to erase who you are and make you feel so attached to an enslavement story. Now, I watch Tim and Phoebe on YouTube. If you don't follow them, you really need to follow them. Every time they drop a video, it's like full of the truth, and they don't give a damn. They just gonna tell it how it is. I'm still growing in my just tell it how it is era, but this is my second year of being awakened to just really loving true shit. Right? So isolation is going to weaken your memory. When you in a community, this strengthens our intelligence. The people who absorb this knowledge on the podcast, this is going to strengthen your intelligence. This is going to strengthen your brain by doing all of these things to feed your brain. Reading, truth, debate, comprehending, having a dialogue instead of performing, and not being afraid of the dialogue, not being afraid to question what you actually believe and why you believe it. Now see, that is the key that unlocks the code. Saying, I believe this, but what am I backing this up with? What have I done? What research have I done to make sure what I'm believing is actually accurate and it feels good to my spirit? To make sure what I'm believing isn't just the default method. Some people are so stuck with pseudo default knowledge and they just believe it just because that's the first thing they learn. They don't even say, hey, well, why do I believe this? Let me go do a little research. And my thing is, once I start doing research, it's a wrap, because I'm like, for instance, we gonna talk about New Year. I put it on my Facebook. I probably put it in a couple other places that I said Happy New Year. Somebody said, well, New Year's is actually April Fool's Day. I'm like, I didn't say, no, it ain't. No, I'm like, well, damn, I didn't know that. After learning all the other lies in colonization and history, now I lead with, damn, that's probably true. Now I gotta go do my research. Now I have to figure out, how did this happen? But I'm not shocked because we're on a Gregorian calendar. We're on a Gregorian calendar, so it's not shocking that it would be an April Fool's Day when things really begin to start, when the new year starts. You know, every culture, every society has their own timeline. And unfortunately, since the birth of white supremacy and all of the evil behind that type of mentality, we have been put on a different timeline. No longer do we do sunset, sunrise, know how the moon correlates with the time and the light and the dark, and we going outside. We're too busy working too hard. We're too busy stressing about the next bill. We're too busy worrying about money and trying to keep up, and that can keep you stuck. When actually, guys, the wealth is in the knowledge. The wealth is in your purpose. The wealth is in reading. The wealth is in truth. The wealth is in being honest. The wealth is in, staying silent sometimes and listening. That's how I grow. Like, I still haven't done the research on April Fool's Day and the solstice, but I did do that a little bit. I got into the timeline and I understand it to a deeper level. I did the research on Christmas. I did the research on Thanksgiving. I didn't do Halloween yet. I didn't do things like Valentine's Day yet. I didn't do New Year's Day yet because it's just so much to learn that you have to baby step this stuff. You have to really baby step it. But knowledge is generational wealth. It truly is. Knowledge is generational wealth. It really is. Well, my studio is not working. Okay, that studio is just not gonna work. Let's exit out of that. Oh. So yeah, knowledge is the generational wealth, right? In the past, we were taught that wealth is only money. You know, hey, the only wealth we should be seeking is the dollar bill. We were taught that wealth is only money, right? Real generational wealth includes memory, language, discernment, pattern recognition, spiritual intelligence, being free in your thinking. This is true wealth when you can really have a calm energy about every challenge that comes up, when you can really understand the memory and the amnesia that history tries to equip us with, where you don't really care about being sacred, you don't really care about history like at all. I've been one of those people who just really didn't give a damn because I'm living in the now. That's in the past. It don't got nothing to do with me. But when you understand and understand, like, the past has everything to do with the present. It's something that if you ignore, you get caught up in whatever rules that are made now, but they are derived and have origins in the past. Okay? And guess what happens when true knowledge dies? I'm not talking about pseudo history. I'm not talking about colonized history. I'm not talking about high school history. I'm talking about history that is spiritual, that you research, that you connect with, that really ties to who you are. When that dies, when you stop caring about knowledge, guess what? People become easy to manage. They become so easy to just manipulate and break the spirit. That's why truth feels like a potion, because it wakes you up. It's like a magical potion. When you hear some shit you ain't never heard before, the first response is denial. But the first response really should be for you to go research, is this true or is this not true? Not to battle, because you might not have came across this information yet on your desk. But once you come across some new shit on your desk, such as the African American was reclassified from American Indian to Negro, with a whole bunch of other names along that path. To some people that feels like, no. To me it was like, what? It don't even sit right in your brain when you first hear it. You really have to go and dig and be like, what? It's a potion. You see how that potion feel? It feel kind of like it stung you because you've been used to hearing fake shit so long, fake truth so long, BS so long. You settle for anything that was in the default method for so long. This is a part of history, I remind us, that was intentionally erased. Intentionally erased. Okay? It was intentionally erased. They've been knocked out of your head on purpose. Okay? They don't want you to have discernment. They don't want you to recognize patterns, to be spiritually intelligent. Because that makes you a free thinker. And free thinkers are not people who fit into a colonized society. Because you're not going to go to work and shit the hell up. You questioning things. You want to understand more. You want a deeper understanding about who you are. And once you get the potion, which is truth, it's going to wake up your spirit. Why? Why does truth wake up our brain, guys? Because remember, we talking about optimizing our sacredness. So why would truth benefit us? And how does a lie hurt you? See, the lie, again, is the default method. You know how you get something brand new, it doesn't have any settings. It's just like, that's what colonization does. You push you in the default method. It tells you what days you're going to be off, what days you're going to celebrate, who you're going to celebrate, what's your religion. It sets out the plan for you to, you know, stay melanated and die, is what they call it. But when you wake up in the truth, and when you get that magic potion, when you come across that information on your desk you have not seen before about who you are and who your ancestors really was, and you realize they were sacred. And again, one of the biggest things I learned recently is that melanin, the code, the genetic code for melanin, goes so far back, billions of years ago, from a science standpoint. So if the code that's in my body to create melanin, to create this being that we are, is billions of years old, why would people want me to hate that truth? Because it's empowering. And some people feel like empowerment, somebody else who have nothing to do with them being empowered, feeling empowered, is a threat. Because an empowered person is a free thinker. They spiritually connected. And they gonna always question what you telling them. They not just gonna take it with a grain of salt like, oh, this person said I should believe this because if I don't, then they're gonna strike fear in me, so I'm gonna believe it. That's the default method. Versus saying, you colonize me, so I'm obviously gonna believe everything opposite of what you tell me, because I know you're trying to trick me out my spot. I already know you're trying to make me feel like I don't belong on a land that was already here. See, that's the thing I love about the Christopher Columbus journal, because he was an evil son of a gun, we'll say. He was very, very evil, and you could see it in his writing. So documents like that, they just wake you up immediately. It's like a potion. That's gonna be forever a potion in my eyes. The Christopher Columbus journal. It's a potion because I get to really see how colonizing a group of people who have no idea the evil that they're about to face looks. You could just see the evil on the paper in black and white. It just changed your whole spirit to really recognize, damn, my ancestors really had to fight so hard so that they was not erased. Do y'all understand that? The Papa Bulls, those decrees were seize the land, colonize the people, infect them with religion. This was their plan. And that's one of the biggest truths. Infect them with religion so that they can be easily controlled. Some people don't understand, damn, why am I so easy to control? Because you fall for everything. You research nothing. You don't read. You don't write. You don't create. You just work and have fear. You ain't drinking no type of truth potion. You just wake up in default method every day, trying to figure out why you feel so down and out, why I feel so sad. It's because you're not empowered, because you don't know the truth. Truth is alchemical. It changes the state of mind. So remember those parts of the brain that we talked about earlier, and there are other ones, but these parts, the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, the limbic system, these are parts that we must feed and regulate. Let me see. I'm going to see if we can pull these up so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Let's see if we can pull up the parts of the brain. Sorry to y'all on TikTok. Uh-oh. Let's pull up the brain. Prefrontal cortex. You see where it is? It's on the front part of the brain, the blue area. Right? That's the blue area. So this is where you make decisions and all of those different things. So anything that you learn when you tap into your spirit, it's going to highlight this part of the brain. Your long-term vision for your life. It's going to tap into your prefrontal cortex. Okay? What about your hippocampus? Do y'all know where the hippocampus is? Let's pull up the hippocampus. You see that? Hippocampus. This little blue area. You see that? The hippocampus. It's small, but it regulates memory, ancestry, your story. And you must feed it. This brain is so complex. You have to feed it. What about the limbic system? Let's pull up the limbic system. Alright, so this is the limbic system. Another very complex neurological area. This regulates your emotions, your intuition, your belonging. So all of this is in your head, right? Attached to you right now. And you have to feed it every single day. You got your basal ganglia, the thalamus, the pineal gland, hippocampus, the cerebellum, the amygdala, the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, your limbic system. So when we talk about like optimizing your sacredness, we're not really just playing around and just making stuff up. This is actually areas in your body that you must feed, guys. Feed it with generational wealth, which is language, memory, connecting to the spirit. And what about truth? Again, melanin is also a potion. Just like truth is a potion, when you learn true knowledge, it wakes you up, it changes and it unlocks a code in you. That's why I love learning true knowledge, because it definitely unlocks something in me that, you know, that I can't ever forget. Melanin is something that is off the radar because it's one of like the most ancient structures. And why is it off the radar? Because it's biology, it's chemistry, it's protection, it's intelligence. Just like your brain. Just like your brain. Melanin. And I'm going to forever be a fan of melanin. Because it's a part of who I am. Okay? It's a part of who we are. It's a part of who we are. I was trying to find the. This is a good image right here. Let's pull up this image. This image right here. Let's make it a little bit bigger so you can see the full diagram that we're going to talk about. Mechanism of skin pigmentation. Let's see the full diagram. Alright. So as you can see from this diagram, when we talk about melanin, this copper tone, indigenous autochthonous melanin, this pigment is actually a defense system against against ultraviolet rays, UV light from the sun. Melanin. That's why it's biology, chemistry, protection, and it's very intelligent. Melanin absorbs, transforms, and protects just like wisdom. So that's why when you love who you are, you stop asking for permission to exist. When you know what melanin is and you love who you are and you don't fall for pseudo history. And one of the biggest tricks in history is to make people who have melanin hate their melanin. One of the biggest tricks. You can't tell me otherwise. They attach the word black to melanin to make you think, oh, I'm just black. No, you're melanated. You just have a pigment in your skin on your organ that protects your insides, that does biology, chemistry, protection, and it's intelligent. It absorbs, it transforms, and protects. It's just like wisdom. Melanin is ancient. You know, if anybody is smart, they would love melanin. They would love what this chemical does to help us defend against cancer, aging, just so many different things. So how does this mechanism of skin pigmentation work? Number one, as you can see on the diagram, let me see if I can annotate. We're going to see if we can annotate. I think I can annotate. So number one on the diagram, let's look at what happens first. So it's gonna be kind of hard for me. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to annotate, so let's take that away. Anywho, so look at number one on the diagram. You'll see the sun next to the words mechanism of skin pigmentation. You'll see the sun right here. And then the sun gives us UVA and UVB ultraviolet radiation, which causes damage to DNA inside of your body. So if your skin has this protective biological defense system, aka melanin pigment, it does something unique, which science doesn't teach us because science is colonized. And they didn't want you to know that melanin is actually pretty cool. It's not black. It's a pigment. It's science. It's not black. It's copper tone. That's what makes us Niji, Amerindian, indigenous, sovereign, autochthonous. The Appalachians, the Muskogeans, the Choctaw, the Creek, the Mohawk, on and on and on. So many. The Powhatan. Because once this UV light from the sun hits the skin, and you can see the first layer of the skin, the UV light is so strong that it can penetrate the skin. It's just that strong. And by exposure to UV rays, reactive oxygen is generated. Okay? Once this happens, melanin is excessively produced by melanocytes. You see that brown pigment? And then the pigmentations are generated. Okay? So melanin has so many benefits. So many benefits. Let's see if we can pull up the chart. Uh-oh. To see the benefits. So once you know, that's why knowledge is power. It really is. Because once you know the chemistry that exists inside your brain, on your skin, in your body, then you have a forever appreciation of it. So if anybody come and try to say something that wants you to hate yourself, like people who bleach their skin because they don't want to have melanin, it doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that to something that only helps you? It only helps you. That's all it does. So it's only gonna help you guys. I was really trying to find my diagram, but it seems like I can't really find my diagram to pull up, because I believe it helps us explain it a little bit better. So let's use the AI overview and show you on the screen. Uh-oh. Let's see. Let's see what AI has to say about melanin. Because I'm tapping into this melanin energy this year and loving every part of my melanin. Because for so long, you know, melanin is ignored. But in secrecy is one of the most potent things and oldest things on the planet. Right? So let's get into the melanin's main benefits. We already talked about UV protection. It acts as a natural sunscreen, absorbing harmful ultraviolet rays and preventing DNA damage. And it's an antioxidant activity. Okay? It forms scavenging harmful reactive oxygen species called ROS that cause cellular stress and aging. Okay? It supports the immune system, reduces inflammation, linked to evolutionary adaptation, skin and hair pigmentation. It's just such a powerful pigment that we don't really talk about enough, you know, when it comes to sun and skin protection. UVA absorption. Melanin absorbs UVA, UVB, and blue light, shielding the skin and the skin cells from damage that can lead to sunburn and skin cancer. So without melanin, or without sunscreen, if you don't have the natural pigment of this amazing molecule that they try to make us hate, I don't know why, that absorbs all this energy from the sun naturally and shields you, why would you not make this a beautiful thing? It reduces DNA damage by absorbing radiation and neutralizing those reactive oxidative species. It prevents the damage to the epidermal cell DNA. Aging. So if your cells aren't getting as much DNA damage from the sun and the ultraviolet rays, because these rays are very, very strong. That's why the sun is so hot. So you can imagine that heat coming from the sun. That's ultraviolet radiation going to your skin. So if you don't have the melanin, It can't absorb those UVA and UVB rays. It can't absorb any of those damaging energies, and it leads to aging. It leads to sunburn and damage to the skin, damage to the DNA. But if you have melanin, you're going to have a benefit because it's anti-aging, right? Higher melanin levels. So what history has tried to make us think is that, oh, the darker you are, the more hate you're supposed to have. No, the darker you are, the more melanin you have. That's all it means. It's science, biology. So we got to get out of thinking that you can make science racist. Oh, just because somebody got melanin, we're supposed to hate them. No, mother sucker. It's not what it's about. It's just the science. It's just the, you see what I'm saying? It's black and white. This is what this pigment does that you see. Copper tone, this is what it does. This is the benefit of it, and it's not what a colonizer tells you. They want you to think that it's not beneficial to you because they don't have it, and it's something that they would probably have and appreciate if they had it, and it wouldn't be no hate in the world. That's all I'm saying. It's black and white. The knowledge is, this is what melanin is. Why would you hate something that protects the largest organ? I still can't get it through my head. What about the cellular and systemic benefits of melanin? We already talked about the antioxidant power. It's anti-inflammatory. It supports the immune system, and it's also very beneficial throughout the body. It's beneficial throughout the body. Now that's just light work about the pigment melanin. So the next time you thinking that, you're gonna hate yourself or not understand the mysticism behind who you are, just wake up, because your melanin has wisdom behind it. Now, before we get out of here pretty soon, let's talk about the pretendians and protecting our sacredness. Sacred identities do not need spectators. They need protectors. So we need more people to protect our identity and speak up about it and stand in truth when it comes to these pretendians. We don't need them to be spectators and to dilute who we are. They confuse lineage. They create muddy memory. They just argue and come into the community and spill out all of this colonization type dialogue, and it gets confusing for people. This means not giving them access to our conversation. Not everything deserves engagement. And this year, you already know I'm on trying to be positive only with my engagement. Having a block party. That's what that's about. So this is a memo to you, a reminder for you to dig deep into who you are, to ask yourself what actually energizes me, what actually drains me, what topics light my brain on fire, what topics ignite my limbic system, my hippocampus, my prefrontal cortex, what things and ideas give me that drive where I feel like I'm excited to wake up in the morning. Where do I feel most alive learning? So everybody should be learning. As we get older, you should always be learning something new. Even if it's just having a conversation with an elder, or even kids can teach you something new. Just getting out into the world and not feeling so bogged down by life. Not feeling so bogged down by the news, about propaganda, and just know that you are amazing. You have to light your own brain up with information, with knowledge, with creativity, overcoming your fears, trying something new, starting a business, maybe it not going as good as you thought and starting over, or just stepping outside of the box and the norms of just what society tells you you should do. How about you tell you what you should learn? You tell you what you want to research and find out more about. My first suggestion is always going to be genealogy. Everyone should have an Ancestry.com. Do your genealogy so that you can see these documents with your ancestors. Real people come to life, and then you connect to the land. And then you could connect to the history. And then it will make sense that, oh my gosh, I'm really from Tamerica. I'm really from this soil. I'm not from enslavement type of process. Roots was not really true. This is something they used to trick us into thinking that this is who we are. My dad already told me they showed them roots in high school. By force. Now, they didn't show it at home. They showed it in school. To me, he didn't even understand what he unlocked for me. But it was like, they really did try to brainwash us into thinking that was us in the movie when we was already here. My ancestors have land even still to this day. How could they do that being weak? Because they wasn't weak. They was businessmen, farmers, agriculturalists. So we gotta optimize our sacredness a little bit more, meaning use that on those days when you need to feel empowered. Use that your ancestors stood on business about everything. Use that as you dig deeper and answer these questions about what energizes you. I'm not talking about going to work, working hard, money, bossing. I'm not talking about all that little fluffy duffy shit. I'm talking about what really energizes your spirit and what is truly draining you all the time. What makes you truly feel alive? See, me, when I thought about going into dentistry, it truly made me feel like, it lit my brain on fire. Even if my mom said 5 years old, oh, you're going to be a doctor. I didn't know what kind of doctor. I didn't even know that was even going to be possible, because I'm thinking, they don't really look like me. And I come from pretty much a little or nothing, so what are my chances? But then when I got deeper into the knowledge, continued to research, the idea of it became like, it lit my brain on fire. And then I started to research different types of doctors, and then eventually I landed to dentists and thought, oh, this is perfect, after going through so many other major decisions. So it just goes to show us that you have to dig deeper and figure out what makes your brain light up. Fast forward to now, being a dentalpreneur, engaging with patients, having this whole different level of dentistry. I know that entrepreneurship, it don't really light my brain up the way actually doing dentistry light my brain up. But entrepreneurship is something that is not for the weak. It's a lot more involved than you could probably know. Dealing with overhead and all of the different things and vendors and blah 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 blah. It can be overwhelming, but it's another part of me that maybe is starting to light up. It's just that I don't really like it. So sometimes the things that light your brain up aren't so comfortable. So most people would fall back like, you know what, I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to stress myself. But sometimes you need to push yourself a little bit further so that you can test yourself and not be afraid that if you take this test, it might not work out, but at least you took the test. At least you know what to expect for the next time. Do the things that light your brain up. Curiosity, being curious, is ancestral. Being curious about who you are, being curious about history, being curious about knowledge, open up your brain to what's going on. Like I told y'all yesterday, somebody told me New Year's is April Fool's Day. It's in the spring because nothing is new in the winter. I'm like, wow. I didn't say, oh my God. I'm like, wow, that's another area I need to study and figure out what the hell going on. Because I refuse to be bamboozled by Christopher Columbus and his great grandkids anymore. Y'all done enough. I don't need y'all to talk and tell me nothing. I can research it myself. I can figure out who I am on my own. I don't need pseudo history to tell Dr. Sean who she is and who her ancestors is. Because listen, once I started doing my genealogy, I got over 1,000 members in my tribe. They don't know who they are, most of them. But I do. I'm the seed. My ancestors' wildest dreams was for us never to forget them. Never to forget them. Not at all. The next thing that I want us to lead with during this season is trying something new. Go somewhere new. Learn something new. Read outside of your comfort zone. Make learning daily. This should be something you do every single day. Learning. If you come to this podcast every single day, I guarantee that you will learn because you might hear something you don't know. And then a lot of times I learn from the audience. I hear things that I might not have known. I hear things I might not have known. Okay, I'm still live on TikTok. Thank y'all for tapping the hearts. I can't really see too much who's sending diamonds or gifts because I'm still learning how to use a live studio and stream not directly from TikTok. So thank y'all for tapping the hearts. We have the 12.5k likes. We got 101 diamonds. I really appreciate it. And thank you for following. That's what's up. So we getting towards the end of this stream. I just wanted to come on here and spend a little time. And it took me a long time to set this up today. And then I have patients. I got to get off of here soon. I have a patient I'm working on a Saturday. But it's okay. I love it. I love helping people in this space and being able to do it. And you know, a lot of times, guys, we forget that the things that we have now, we once, prayed for, we once manifested. And when it comes true, we got to be so grateful and just, show gratitude from coming from so long. I just think this year will make 10 years me being a dentist. It's been a long time. And I learned so much. I've grown like, whoa. I don't know. I'm ready for the next phase. Not ready, but am ready. I don't know. But anywho, let's make learning a daily habit. It's not a seasonal thing. This year I have a couple new ventures that I'm going to be on. A couple, royalty missions that I need to finish up. And to really streamline my focus. But sometimes you can have too much going on and you're not focused on one thing. You're doing too much. So I want to streamline my focus. And that's just not a resolution. It really has to be a lifestyle. That means becoming top tier in streaming, dentistry, and balance. I'm growing as a streamer. I'm learning timing, promotion, rhythm. I'm also a dentist dealing with emergencies and trying to find balance in that skill. But consistency plus grace will sustain you. What does that mean? Being consistent, but also having grace and not being so bogged down by being perfect. Not being stressed by that. So if this resonated with you guys, please turn on your notifications. We build minds here on the Hood to Hood podcast. We honor our ancestors here on the Hood to Hood podcast. And what do? We optimize our sacredness. We feed our brain. If you don't take nothing else from this live, just know that knowledge is power. And if you apply that knowledge, it's liberation. So the things that I learn, I bring it to the podcast. Even if it's something that I was tricked about in the past, and I want people to wake up and not be tricked about it, I bring it to the podcast. That's how we apply the knowledge. That's how we achieve liberation. Okay? So protect your mind, feed your brain, honor your lineage, and don't let anyone convince you that what you are is anything less than sacred. Period. That's all. That's it. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom. That's all. That's it. Bada bing, bada boom. So we don't have any questions. Y'all don't have any questions in the chat. We're going to get on up out of here. Thank y'all, TikTok. 13.5K. I appreciate it. OCO, I see Charlie Hustle 713 on Instagram. I got to get used to broadcast for started. I got to get used to streaming on all these dang on places. Yeah, but it was fun doing it today. I see some areas that I can grow on, but yeah, we're gonna keep it moving and just keep leveling up. I will see y'all tomorrow around 8-ish. I'm not gonna say 8 o'clock. I'm gonna say 8-ish. And yeah.